The big reveal, boom. SCS Recruitment 2020-2021.
Isn't it technically 2021, 2022?
Yes, Felix.
But we're doing the recruitment now.
Felix, I'll go change it.
Oh, I went too fast. Fine,
Just
but
put 2020 to 2022, okay? All inclusive.
No, you have to go from, what is it, 1970?
SCS did not exist in 1970. All right, well, 205, let's go for it. So thank you everyone for showing up. Welcome to our SCS recruitment info session for what I'm being told is 2021, 2022, my bad. Very informal. If you have any questions throughout the whole thing, feel free to write them in the chat or raise your hand to unmute yourself. We're going to go through all the positions, all the information. Probably a lot of stuff you've already seen in the document that we posted, but should hopefully give you a little bit more detail about all the different positions and also how everything works and why you should join SCS and so on. Feel free to raise your hand or put a question in the chat whenever you want. Probably best if we save the questions for the end though, but you can put them in the chat right away so that you don't forget, and then we can get back to them once we're done. Shouldn't be too long. This is mostly so you guys can ask your questions, get clarification, anything you need to know about SCS or our recruitment process. And there's also a link here, a little tiny.cc link if you want to get access to these slides and either skip ahead, go back in case you missed something, etc. And without further ado, let's get started. So we're recruiting for 5 positions right now. VP Marketing, VP Finance, VP Social, VP Academic, and VP Competitions. We got them. You'd be joining the current preliminary new SCS team of 4 people with Jose as president, Serene doing communications, Hove doing internal, and Ariel doing careers. I'm the president this year, so I will be gone. I will pass away on May 1st and pass it over to the new team. So these are the people you'd be working with. I'm getting pings in the chat. All right, perfect. Yeah, so most of these people are here right now, actually, if you want to chat with them, and there might be some other people who are informally going to join later as directors, but that's the current team right now. So these are the people you'd be working with. Feel free to send them a message or whatever. As for the positions themselves, I'll go through them one by one. We'll start with VP Marketing. So VP Marketing is responsible for maintaining the visual identity of the society. So the big part of that is graphic design. So you'll see that we have a ton of amazing graphics that June, our shadow president, has been creating over the course of the last year.
All right, well, you're skewing it wrong. Graphics is a big part of it because I wanted it to be a big part of it. A great part about SCS is that you can really make it what you want it to be. I really wanted to focus on graphics, and so I have. However, the main point of marketing is just marketing the society, really, and that can come in graphic design, that can come in posts, making posts on Discord, keeping it active, keeping our other social media platforms active, such as Facebook, Instagram, our Facebook group, which is different from our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page. Just really, really, it's pumping out content of just reminding people that, hey, we're here, come check out our events.
Exactly, well put. So yeah, if you're into social media management or graphic design, this is a great position for you. There's just a whole bunch of various graphics that we've created to give you an idea of the kind of work that you'd be doing. But it's also a big part of social media management. We have Instagram, we have a Discord server we like to have a lot of activity. We have our Facebook groups that a lot of people follow us on. We have LinkedIn, which some people are really into, although I don't understand, but you know, all stuff that's part of marketing for the society. It's an incredibly important part of what gets people to come to our events. So super critical in helping the society run.
If people don't know about our events, they can't come. So the marketing's big push is to make sure people know about it. If that's writing really bad puns about React or Python, or writing put this big snake in your toolbox, which is what I wrote for one of the Python promos. It's really that. It's just writing things that get people's attention. And there are lots of ways to do that.
Yeah, so that's VP Marketing. Next, we also have VP Academic. So VP Academic is responsible for our tutorials and workshops, which is a huge part of what the society does. So we do a ton of workshops every year, and as VP Academic, your responsibility would be to organize those. So that means reaching out to companies and guest speakers who might be interested in doing workshops with us. That means when people reach out to us to do workshops, you coordinate with them and make it happen. You figure out a date, you book any space that we might need or schedule any Zoom meetings. You handle creating the event descriptions and collaborating with marketing to make sure that the event gets marketed properly. You don't necessarily have to give workshops yourself if you don't want to. When I was VP Academic a few years ago, I did because I enjoy teaching and that's something I wanted to do. Like June said, a lot of these positions are doing what you really want to do and bringing what you want to bring to the society. So for you, this could also be giving workshops if you want. It could also be organizing company tours, which is something we haven't done recently for obvious reasons, but something that we've done in the past. And also professor meet and greets. Academic is kind of our link between the school and professors and the society. And we've had events like meeting with professors, learning about their research, learning about research opportunities, and so on. So a couple of different things that this covers, but definitely an incredibly important part of our society is bringing those workshops. And we do a ton of workshops. Here's just a whole bunch of marketing graphics that were created, so more examples of that, for a ton of our events we've done. We've done Intro to Unity, Intro to Python, C#, Node, UX, Git, Amazon Robotics came to give a tech talk. That's guest speakers again. iOS, Google Stadia came to give a talk, then React Workshop. And this is just a small fraction of all the crazy stuff we've done over the past few years. So super useful to teach students new things, and really great to, like, if you're interested in organizing events and logistics and coordinating that and bringing these awesome events to the students, then this is a good position for you. I did it a couple years ago and I learned a lot and had a blast doing it. So it's cool. Next is VP Finance. So to make all these events happen, sometimes we need a budget. So VP Finance is responsible for creating our budget request in the summer. So every summer we create a request of all the events we want to do and how much money we need for them. And we submit that request to the ECA, which is our parent student association. And then they give us a budget in return, a spreadsheet of how much money we have and what we get to spend it on. VP Finance is responsible for creating that budget and managing it. So super important for a lot of our events that require funding. VP Finance also seeks sponsorship from tech companies in Montreal. We have a couple of sponsors. We've been sponsored in the past by Essence, Moonvo, Matrox, Sigillion, other companies that I don't remember because it's from before my time. And Ubisoft as well, although it was an official sponsorship, they did give us money. So VP Finance is in charge of that, which is also super important because some of our events require a lot of funding. Some that I'll talk about later, but for example, our wine and cheese requires money to book spaces and get food and catering and whatnot. Going to competitions requires funding to pay for transport and lodging and tickets and so on. So this is super important to enable a lot of our events to happen. This is a lot of work in the summer, mostly for creating our budget request and seeking sponsors, because the summer is when they look to create sponsorship deals. And then during the rest of the year, you're in charge of submitting our reimbursement requests. Whenever someone spends society money, they need to get reimbursed as soon as possible. So this is great if you like being organized, handling budgets, doing spreadsheets, and also if you like to reach out to sponsors. So that's a very unique thing because it's reaching out to tech companies, building contacts, securing deals for the society, and super critical, super important to our functioning. Of course, a year like this, the finance side was a bit different. We didn't have necessarily as many financial needs, But as soon as the next year comes, we're going to need to get back into the swing of things so that we can plan our in-person events even more. And yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, then this is a great position for you.
It's
June?
a really good position if you want to network. One of the most effective finance strategies is to, well, I mean, in the before times, was to go in person and meet up with sponsors and see what they want. And so you get to meet a lot of people and you reach out to a lot of people. So if you're into networking and want to get those industry connections, super great position for that.
Yeah, and pretty much every company that sponsors us also is interested in hiring us, because that's why they're sponsoring us, because they want to scout out good talent at Concordia. So also a great way to meet a bunch of recruiters and throw out your CV, and also help the rest of the society throw out their CVs as well. Yeah, and continuing on, VP Social, another huge one, responsibilities of organizing social events, which is another big part of the kinds of stuff SCS does. It's not only workshops that we do, but also cool fun times. So social events, we do all kinds of them. And then really what's cool is it's up to you as VP Social, what kind of social events you want to organize. We've had board game nights. We've had like foosball tournaments. We've had Smash Bros tournaments. We have a chess night going on tonight. Our yearly wine and cheese is a really big one of these, which we didn't get to have this year, but last year, we bring our sponsors over and we get a bunch of wine and catering, and then people can network with the sponsors, gain connections and whatnot. Our lizard
Great.
lounges.
Yeah, it's a great way to like just, hey, we're gonna buy some pizza and play some video games and get the school to pay for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's basically come chill, do something fun and get people to show up, and then they get to also have fun. But if you just, yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, and then we all show up to the social events and have a blast, and it's paid for by our sponsors or the school most of the time. So super fun. Whole bunch of events. I have some pictures from stuff we did, obviously not this year. You're also in charge of organizing Frosh, which is, well, our presence at Frosh. We have a booth on the first day of Frosh where Froshies can meet us and learn about the society and whatnot. There was a T-Rex once. I will be taking no questions about the T-Rex.
I will be taking questions about the T-Rex.
It's a lot of fun. Milk and Cookies isn't necessarily organized by VP Social, but you can certainly pitch in to help. We have board game nights at Reggie's, wine and cheeses, like so much cool stuff that you get to do as VP Social. And again, you work with VP Marketing to do the marketing for these events. You work with finance to get a budget for these, and yeah, it's a pretty fun time.
Also, our lizard lounges are done generally in collaboration with our other ECA societies or engineering societies. So if you wanted to like get to know the people at Women in Engineering or at CSME or at IEEE, go for it. Like just hit them up and be like, hey, let's do an awesome lizard lounge together, and let's make an event for a Friday that people are gonna have a baller time at. It's great. You get to meet a lot of people in all of these positions. The student leaders, I don't like that term, but the student leaders network is really something, and it gets you a lot of interesting connections. Yeah. So the question is,
I don't see
yeah,
the
those
question.
are the picture on the left is on JMS is in JMSB. It's on the second or third floor. It's like overlooks the main area. The second one is the big pictures and Reggie's. It's just a really weird. Is that Reggie's?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the corner of Reggie's. You can't see the bar or anything, but it is Reggie's.
Yeah, it's one of the weird places. The bottom picture with the cookies is the B Annex, where it's the B Annex Lounge, which if you haven't been to Cordia, because I know some of y'all haven't, it's the engineering lounge. And then on the bottom right is the Loyola campus, which is where Frosh orientation is normally held.
I actually went to campus for 2 years, but I've never seen any of these places.
You can dress them up pretty different. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just weird angles. If you go in person, you'll be like, oh yeah. And yeah, this is the bottom right picture here is also the BNX. That's probably a better angle to see what it looks like. There's a whole bunch of t-shirts on the wall.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's VP Social. And last but not least is VP Competitions, which is also super hype. All these positions are super hype. So the main responsibility of VP Competitions is organizing Concordia's delegations to competitions. So you create our teams, you do tryouts to pick who's going to be on the team, you get everything organized, you organize practices, and then you go to the competition. Our main competitions we do are CS Games, IEEE Extreme, ICPC. We do a couple of CTFs, but that's more informal, and also the Google Tech Challenge. A lot of these competitions are general opening registration, but some of these like CS Games, not just anyone can register because we only get to send 20 people from the entirety of Concordia. So it's your job to find the best people for that and to create the team and to send it to CS Games.
Creating the team involves like setting up the tryouts, whether that's writing them yourselves or finding somebody else to organize and write the tryout. You have access to the network of SCS oldies that can help out if you want. And also just getting people hyped up about competitions, because competitions are dope. They look great on your CV, and they're an excuse, and some of them are an excuse to just get wasted on a weekend and and just do a shit ton of coding. Top tier, highly recommended.
Yeah, and then as a secondary responsibility too, you're responsible for finding new competitions for Concordia students to go to and exposing them to the student network. So we like to post a lot of competitions in our Discord for people who are interested and so on. And if you're interested in that, also organizing maybe your own competition. If that's something that you're interested in doing, you've wanted to like, you see these cool competitions and you're like, wow, we should have that competition or something similar at Concordia. That's totally something that you can do, often in collaboration with other societies. But the main focus is going to these competitions. And here we have some pictures from CS Games. Obviously didn't get to do it in 2020, which is a huge tragedy, and I'm still sad. But we have some pictures from a couple of years ago. Try and spot me in June if you can. It's a lot of fun, CS Games, honestly. It's like over the course of a weekend in March, like 2 teams of 10 from schools across Quebec and northern United States go to compete in like a ton of multidisciplinary challenges like AI, relay programming, team programming, security, like 10 others that I'm forgetting. And we form smaller teams of 3 from our teams of 10 and send them to the individual competitions. And then whoever does the best total across all of them wins the competition. Sadly, only June and I, of people in SCS, have actually been, because it's been canceled for 2 years in a row now. So your job as VP Competitions would be, with some advice from us, organize our delegation, create an awesome team, organize practices, and then go to the competition in March. It's so much fun, you guys. You have no idea. And it's super rewarding to organize these kinds of things because they don't happen unless someone organizes them. We need student volunteers to make these cool events happen, and that can be you. And then also it goes on your CV, and I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just look at all these smiling faces. In 2018, we actually got 2nd place overall, which is why we're so hyped. 2019, we got 6th, but we got like some really good performances too. And I'm really sad I didn't get to go last year, and I'm going to stop now. Yeah, so that's VP Competitions. There's also IEEE Extreme, which is more algorithms programming and happens in fall, that we actually did online this year. And ICPC, which is like the biggest programming competition in the world, and the finals are in like Russia, but you have to make it to the finals. June and I did that one. We got to go on a road trip to Rochester and compete against like Harvard and MIT. It's also pretty cool.
We came 10th in Northeastern North America.
Which is really good. I know 10th maybe doesn't sound great, but 10th out of 20 against like tons of people.
The best at MIT, the best at University of Rochester, and the
We
best
didn't
of
beat
McGill.
We didn't beat McGill either, or Harvard.
No, listen. They were in the group. That's the point.
We beat like 10 other universities though, which is cool.
Yeah, we did really good.
And yeah, that's competitions. And that's our 5 positions. So now I'll just go over a few other things. You might look at these and be like, geez, that's a ton of work. That's so many workshops, so many graphics to make, so many events. Don't worry yourself too much because you don't have to do it alone. you can hire directors. So that's part of your job as a VP, is to find directors. Directors are additional team members that we bring on, and you can delegate a specific subset of your mandate to your director. That doesn't mean giving them all of your responsibilities, but just bring on another person to help. And with 1 or 2 directors, you kind of also become a little bit of a manager, delegating work to your directors and telling them what to do. Directors have less responsibility because you're not like in charge as the VP of the whole thing, but also a bit less authority in the society. So less voting power and less prestige, I guess. So again, maybe if you're looking at SCS and thinking, well, that's too much for me, you can also think of maybe being a director in the future. And if you're thinking of being a VP, keep in mind, this is an option we highly encourage you to do.
And also, even if you're a director, even if you're a VP and you're interested in like I've mentioned, like I keep mentioning, you're really free to do what you want. If let's say you're a director, when I joined, I was director comms, but I started taking on some graphics work. I helped out with academic. I helped out with a bit of everything. You can do what you want, make this experience what you want of it. And so you can have a director who's just somebody who wants to get involved, and you can give them, yeah, you can handle, let's say, newsletter, and then they'll also organize anime night or something. I don't know. Maybe you'll get lucky.
Yeah, and keep in mind that it's mostly like delegating a specific part of your mandate. So for example, VP competition sometimes gets a director of CS games who just helps them organize CS games. Sometimes VP social gets a director who just organizes like a particular kind of social event, and so on. And VP finance sometimes gets a director who's solely responsible for trying to find new sponsors. And yeah, it's delegating a particular part of your mandate. And a lot of people start as directors, then move on to become VPs later. So it's a great way to like kind of gain some experience. But right now we're looking for VPs. We're not looking for directors. If you want to apply to be a director, you're gonna have to wait until we get VPs, because you gotta have the VP, then a director underneath hierarchy stuff.
Also, if you want, like, if you and a friend kind of want to do this as a thing you do together, and one of you, like, you're not sure, maybe you can also do it together, because we do have co-VP options.
Are we only doing that for competitions?
I think so.
Yeah. Competitions is a lot of work. We let people apply together as co-VPs if you want. And yeah, the next point is why join SCS? Because yeah, this is all volunteer work. I hope you weren't expecting to have a salary. None of us get paid to do this. It's student involvement. It's all volunteer based. I didn't get a paycheck. Nobody gets a paycheck. So maybe you're wondering, why the hell should I do this? And there's a couple of answers. Number one is because it's fun. I mean, hopefully you can tell from me and June talking that we really enjoy being involved in SCS. You get to meet other students, a lot of really smart students, a lot of really engaged students, people who are here like to have fun, learn a lot, and build a community. I've met so many interesting people as part of SCS, and it's one of like the best parts of it. Probably the most important one is gaining valuable experience. That's going to depend, obviously, what role you take, what kind of experience you're going to get, but experience organizing stuff, experience in leadership and management and communication, maybe in programming too. Competitions, you might program some stuff. Academic, you might give a workshop on something like Git, but some roles not programming, obviously. But yeah, a lot of really important experience. Being VP academic and being president of SCS taught me so much. It also goes on your CV, and that's legitimately helped me get job offers in the past. I've had employers who only gave me an interview because I had student involvement. I had employers who used to be part of SCS. The interviewer was like, oh my God, I used to be part of SCS. And I was like, no way. I've had like so many opportunities opened up because of my student involvement. It's super good to have on your CV.
Also,
And
you get recognized by the department, and like I know that I was sent off to a conference just because the chair of software engineering and computer science was like, oh hey, I know you, you're involved in SCS. Yo, go to this big conference. So like you get just sent to shit, and it's dope.
yeah. And all that leads into growing your network of industry professionals, which I think is one of the most helpful things. I've met, like, everyone you meet in SCS is going in software engineering, computer science, computer engineering, or something. And those people all graduate and then they go work in the industry. And like, that just gives you so many contacts to, like, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking for advice, if you're in your first year and you want to get advice from people who are in their fourth year in SCS. Eventually, when you're graduating, you'll have just a wider network of people you can contact for advice. If you're looking for a job, if you want to know what it's like to work at this company, etc. Yeah, you want to add something? Jim?
No, there's a question.
I don't actually see the chat for some
No, I know. That's why
reason.
I'm monitoring chat. I'm letting you know. VP Competitions isn't the only team that contributes to the
Can you
SCS
say the
GitHub.
question for me?
Okay, the question is VP Competitions and that team the only team that gets to contribute to the SCS GitHub code base? No, actually, because we host most of our websites, such as the AlgoTime website and the just our general SCS website on our GitHub, it's actually most of the commits are by me. But we haven't really used our SCS GitHub space. So if that's something you're interested in, you could definitely take it over and make it mostly yours. But everyone on the team who has like needed to tweak the website or tweak AlgoTime has access.
Yeah, I'll expand on that. Our AlgoTime website is on GitHub. I've worked on it during the past year. Smit has messed around with it. So that would be careers and myself. Our current VP competitions created a repository in there and is working on a new competition in collaboration with IEEE. We've had some workshops and other initiatives that end up as repositories in our GitHub. So there's a bunch of stuff in there. And again, like June said, it really depends on you. Like, even if you enroll as VP Finance, then during the year you realize just reimbursement requests isn't enough work for you and you want to like contribute more. Nothing stops you from helping out anywhere in the society. Like, we're always open to like collaborate across different silos. As in, there's no silos. Like, if you want to help with coding a competition, you can do that, even if you're not VP competitions.
Yeah. So again, just like it's really great to get to know other people, help out, figure out what you're interested in. I mean, you just have to do the baseline of work and then, or find directors to help out with that. And then after that, you're kind of free to, you know, do what you want, get involved, build this awesome community of pretty dope people.
Also, someone asked a question on when they can apply for director of competitions, and that is when someone gets elected for VP of competitions.
Yeah.
Then you can apply for.
Yeah. So directors only go under a VP. So unfortunately, we need to have a VP for that. And in that case, you have to kind of hope that the VP will take you, because
Yeah,
the
the
hiring,
application process is different.
yeah, the hiring of directors is at the discretion of the VP, because you're the one they're working with. So they kind of, and they're your boss basically. So you get to pick.
Yeah. So that's the rundown of why join SCS. And that's pretty much it for the rundown of all this stuff. So now I'll open it again to questions. And there's 2 links on the screen real quick before we go to questions. The first link is that original recruitment document with all the text info, and the link to these slides if you want to look at that again.
Hey, Jagan, sorry if I mispronounced that. His question is, sorry. I'm in my final year of graduate studies and fall 2021 is the last term. Can you still apply for positions? You cannot apply for VP positions. Unfortunately, SCS is an undergraduate society. So there's that. And second of all, VP positions, you must be a student within the Gina Cody School of Engineering for both terms. Whether that's part-time or full-time, it doesn't matter, but you need to be paying credits to the ECA for that to kick in.
Yeah, so you have to be an undergrad student this fall and this winter. This coming fall and coming winter.
Yeah.
There's no such restriction for director positions, though.
Yeah, directors, you can do whatever you want. Just make sure you're in the VP's good graces, basically.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so that I can see the chat.
Right.
And yeah, at this point, it's any questions you guys have for us. If you come up with more questions after this, you can always send us a message, email.
Pop into our Discord server. We got lots of platforms, and there's always at least one person monitoring it. Nice.
Oh, Jose
What?
popping in.
Oh, how many interview rounds?
Layla, why are you asking questions?
Just because I don't.
Plant.
I'm helping.
He's helping. Felix, come on.
There's one interview. If you submit your application, and then we'll do one interview and ask you all of our questions, and then we're going to pick amongst all the people who interviewed. But it's a very informal interview. Don't get scared.
Yeah.
It's a big meme.
They ask you what your favorite type of tree is, for some reason.
No. It was, if you could be a tree, what kind of tree
Oh,
would you
yeah.
be? See, now we're giving you insider info. Now you can, I don't know.
You can't just leak the questions like that, Layla. Then they're going to Google the
That's
answers.
not okay. Yeah.
How
It's
can you
fine.
Google that?
We'll change the
That's
the question now.
Oh, yeah. The chair be competing. The chair is always competing. The chair can always win.
Yeah. if we
Hopefully
don't
not,
like,
but you know.
if we don't like any of the people who apply, we're just going to take no one. But I don't want to do that. I want to see people who are interested in talented applying, and I want to take them. So yes, the chair wins when nobody wins. You're always competing against the chair.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Hopefully that answered your questions.
We're chilling now.
Yep.
Everyone gonna start flexing their plushies.
Is that where we're at?
Squishmallow time.
Is having knowledge of a language a must-have for applying for VP academics?
No, it's not.
Do you mean
I mean,
programming language or
yeah.
verbal language?
actually, that's true. You should know at least one verbal language.
English. Well, you said, yeah, math, you said English. Yeah, well, you don't need to be technically proficient to do VP academic. Like, you don't need to give any workshops if you don't want to. So you mostly do need communication skills.
Yeah.
Programming languages, no.
No.
You don't need to be a good programmer.
You just need to know enough to know what the name is and be able to be like, hey, can you give a workshop in this? Or you don't even have to ask them. Though you generally ask like, hey, well, Layla, correct me if I'm wrong because you've handled most of the workshops, but you're just like, hey, do you want to give a workshop? And then they'll be like, yeah, I know stuff about like C# or whatever, or I could do a workshop on DevOps or Kubernetes or something like that. And so generally they'll come in with the information for you.
I actually, sometimes I like to suggest one for them, depending on their LinkedIn profile. I see what they're interested in and what they work in, and then tell them students are actually asking for this workshop. They're really interested in this, and they get really excited that people love their field and things like that. Helps.
Yeah. It's also a pretty big networking-y. If you take it you get other companies to do workshops for you and reach out to them, it's a pretty networking role and getting to know people.
I wish Zoom had more emojis. I keep seeing these like copy pasted ones.
Right, and
Everyone's
that's it.
gone. You can stop recording now, whoever's recording.